I just want to get your response to yesterday's editorial in our Jersey's only newspaper, the Jersey Evening Post. Firstly, I'd like your idea of their interpretation of the word whistleblower. To us it seems misplaced. Yourself and Graham Power have never been called whistleblowers.
No, we weren't, but I suppose we were carrying out the duties of our lawfully appointed posts, and we never ever did anything that was against the law, or at least it wouldn't be if you weren't a whistleblower. It's bizarre, the JAP's interpretation of the term whistleblower, and I've written a letter to them in which I raised the point that I wonder how many times they called a certain senator who's just finished a term of imprisonment in Jersey a whistleblower for releasing the information he did. I mean, how they can make the jump from a potentially unlawful release of information to a journalist who is a known supporter of paedophiles and equate that with somebody releasing information into the public domain and the public interest itself is absolutely unbelievable. There's absolutely no way that what Mr. Gradwell did could in any way be described as whistleblowing. It was it's a bizarre, and I think it's the bluster of people who have been caught out and who have been totally embarrassed and who are now got their backs to the wall.
Tony, could you tell us what exactly happened? Why did you contact Deputy Pittman?
I contacted Deputy Pittman for the simple reason it's been 14 months since the incident. The police have dragged it out.
What incident is this? Sorry, Tony.
The incident where this certain chap attacked my wife and I in our home. It was done at night. It was a cowardly attack with catapult steel ball bearings, big steel ball bearings. The police were called, and the man, a few hours later, walked into the police station, gave himself up. He had an arsenal of weapons on him. He had 2 throwing knives, a katana sword. They went back to his home to get the catapult and bearings, and also found petrol bombs.
Petrol bombs?
Yeah.
Why would somebody be having petrol bombs and this sort of arsenal in there? So you're in fear of this, Nate. Is that fair to say that you're in fear of this chap?
We're in fear of what he can do. He's not a man that will confront you face to face. He'll do it in the dark or well away from you. He won't be face to face.
So, getting on to he handed himself into the police, and so what was the course from there after he got found with all this massive arsenal, including petrol bombs?
The police doctor was called in, and they put him to the hospital APU at St Saviour's. He was there for a number of days, 15, 16 days, and from then he was let out to come back home.
Channel Television have got, as we said in the email correspondence, they've done something very similar to this before when they gave assurances they wouldn't film members of the public. Then they filmed members of the public, not only a member of the public, they've filmed an abuse survivor who subsequently received intimidatory threats. So they've got form in this, but the truth is, as far as I see it, there's nothing you can do. What are you going to do? Are you going to say to them, right, you can't film our panel meetings? They know, and you know, you need the media over here. What can you do? What's the point?
Well, I'm going to meet with the media to make it exactly clear the fact that this chairman's committee are absolutely paramount on ensuring consistency in terms of protocol. I would love to turn around and say that absolutely no way. If you carry on breaching our protocol, there is no way that you're going to be filming, etc., etc.
What have we got now?
What have we got now? They've taken out all 3 things. They've taken out the independence. They've destroyed the independence by putting states members on there. And not only have they put states members on there, they put a majority of states members on there. So the states members now control what happens on the commission. They control how it does its work. So if they decide to do a roadshow, to go around the parish halls with meetings called by the constables, if they decide to do that, that's what they'll do. And the politicians will decide that. And you can see where that would go. So they've destroyed that. They've destroyed the terms of reference. So they've removed any chance that the Commission can look at whether you or I have a say in who gets to govern us. That's pretty extraordinary in an electoral commission. And they have taken away the independent experts. So they have basically, I started off with the image they've chucked a bomb into the middle of the electoral commission, which leads you to the phrase electoral not electoral, democracy terrorists. And I actually think that that's what they are.
I received a letter from Michael Burt, who was then the Attorney General, and he stated unequivocally that no wrongdoing had been perpetrated by anyone.
In the way of the police,
Police, lawyers, judiciary, and everything. And my trial tapes hadn't been doctored. The other tape recording I'd made hadn't been interfered with. The main prosecution witness last page hadn't been altered. Yet when it came to me asking for a copy of the Avon and Somerset Police verifying all this, he flatly refused under that wonderful little guise of not in the public interest.
Can you just tell us, what your book's about, briefly?
Well, it's roughly the beginning of the book is just sort of talk about Jersey and just give a little explanation about the island, and then go on to sadly say about the childhood abuse and everything that I had, and the upbringing in the Jersey Grooville Girls' Home, and then first of all sort of six years in Westaway Creche, and then going on to the girls' home to find I've got more sisters and I've got brothers, and start questioning, why am I in here? Why haven't my mother and father brought me up? And then, just being in that home till I was 15, it was really almost like a prison.
Contained in the report are allegations that the Treasury Minister, Senator Philip Oziff, attempted to smear the reputation of a civil servant.
Yes.
Who is this civil servant? How did Senator Oziff attempt to smear him or her?
If you look in the report, it's quite clear that on evidence given by the interim treasurer of the state, that a report was prepared which was not intended to point out the shortcomings of Jersey Property Holdings, but in fact to provide a means of apparently removing the director of Jersey Property Holdings by threatening his professional reputation, and because of this being able to get rid of him without paying any sort of golden handshake.
Now, of course, I want to again with this report. You said that you yourself have been manipulative. You attempted to discredit and smear reputations of civil servants, and including, as far as I can gather, the Controller and Auditor General himself. Is there any truth in that?
Well, it's extraordinary.
Well, it is in the report.
I find it quite extraordinary that allegations are put to me, or allegations are put about me, that I actually don't have a proper chance to respond to. A letter was sent to Deputy Valois about matters concerning the process
from
of the CNAG. I didn't know about that letter. I haven't had an opportunity to respond to that. As far as civil servants is concerned, the public elect ministers and their politicians to challenge. And I agree, somebody said that my bedside manner might not be the best. And I agree that I expect very high standards, and I am certainly tough and demanding. But I think there's a big difference, if I may say, between being bullying and harassing versus actually challenging.
Because the Chief Minister has given Senator Oziff, the Treasury Minister, his full support, his full backing.
Yes.
So why isn't this vote of censure coming to the Chief Minister? Surely it's going to, if the buck stops at the top, this vote of censure should be going to the Chief Minister, not the Treasury Minister.
You make a very good point there, but the feeling was we are very poor at holding people to account. The CAG's report did focus on the behaviour of certain politicians like Deputy Lefondre, Senator Oziff, as well as obviously the behaviour and actions of certain senior civil servants, and we feel he has to be accountable. But you're quite right. If, for example, in the debate, the state says, yes, there was a real dereliction of duty by the senator, or perhaps by others, and we will pass the vote of censure, then we will move on to the council ministers and the chief minister. Yeah.
Well, because if, I think you just said it there, you've answered my next question, if this vote of censure against the Treasury Minister, Philip Ozef, is successful, effectively what you're saying, or what the House will be saying, is they've got no confidence in the Chief Minister.
They've certainly got no confidence in his, you're quite right, in his analysis of the situation and his solution. Yeah.
Now, Ian Lamarca, during his suspension reviews, he'd done 3 suspension reviews of the Chief Police Officer, Graham Power. Now, much to the shock or the surprise of Mr. Power's representative, Dr. Timothy Brain, Senator Lamarca refused to look at the original suspension by Andrew Lewis. Have you got any thoughts on why this is?
I find that sort of inexplicable, because whether he's actually said it publicly, he certainly said privately that he wasn't satisfied or wasn't happy with it. He has said it
publicly in one of the reviews. I've seen the transcripts. Yeah.
So I know that he also feels that it wasn't done properly, and I might add, by the way, that what I'm actually doing is dealing with the original suspension only. We're not actually discussing the suspension, but we're looking at the circumstances surrounding it and whether it's sort of valid. My own view is it was not a valid suspension, and of course, once the train is going and they've got Wiltshire and everybody else digging into things, then they're going to drag up lots of things. And again, I think one of my concerns about the whole Wiltshire inquiry was the fact they were using UK standards against a Jersey police chief, which, as we know in Jersey, we always say, look, we don't need all the rubbish that the UK are churning out. Let's simplify it, let's get it straight, let's do what we do in Jersey. That doesn't mean to say we do it any less effectively, but the point is he was being judged by a UK standard, and I think unfairly.
Yeah. Well, the original suspension, or the process, or lack of process, has been criticised by the Royal Court, by Ian Lamarca, like you've just said himself.
And by Napier.
By Napier. Yeah. And just about any fair-minded observer. Andrew Lewis reckons he carried out the process to the letter.
Well, again, I don't accept that, because again, if the transcript is released, he makes various statements about following the procedure. But again, when you compare that to the Napier report, you can see, for example, what the Solicitor General was advising was not done.